Excellent. Well, hey everyone, it's 11:01, so why don't we get started and people will be joining us as we go along. My name is Carrie Wallace. I am the founder of FamGuru. I'm also a travel advisor. I also have a boutique agency in Chicago. So this conversation is near and dear to my heart. So I'm really excited to show you what we've created with FamGuru and to teach you how to use it because it's new, because people haven't had a software product like this before. It's important to talk about how it all works so that you can get out there when you're doing your FAMs and use it effectively. I'm going to start with just a little bit of an overview of what we're going to talk about today. And so I'm going to share my screen. Bear with me a second here. And as I tell Millie, I always hope that this goes all right. It's funny as it is. I have a technology company, although technology is not my forte, but I'm a travel advisor. So anyway, um, cool. So can everybody see my screen at this point? Hopefully, crossing fingers. Millie, nod if you would. Okay.
We,
Great,
yeah, we
great.
are.
So I'm here with Melissa Lopez, and she is on our development team in Argentina. And so she's been working with me and the team for a couple of years now. So she knows FamGuru in and out. She's going to be monitoring the chat today. So as we go along, if there are questions, please drop them in the chat. We'll also have time for more involved questions at the end of the presentation. So if there's something that we think is better to tackle afterwards, we'll just defer it to the end. But Melly, as you see things coming in, just let me know because you can see the chat and I can't now that I'm sharing my screen. Anyway, let me just start out about why does FamGuru exist? I mean, as an advisor, I always went on these fam trips and you see 10 hotels, you eat at 5 restaurants, do 6 activities, and you always have great intentions of coming back and sharing that with your clients and organizing it and doing a pretty report and sharing it with your colleagues and your friends and your clients because you want to sell this great experience. But with 600 emails in your inbox from other clients needing your assistance, oftentimes that never got done for me. And so I was always very conscious of that. I wanted to sell these great experiences, but I wasn't marketing them as well as I should have. Sure, if I came, 6 months later, the subject came up in conversation, then great, I could recommend a hotel I had seen or the destination I had seen. However, there needed to be a better way for me to organize everything because you have hundreds of photos, you have business cards, you have some people still give you collateral or USB sticks. So how do you take all that information, put it together in a way that you can remember next week, 6 months from now, 3 years from now, and use that to demonstrate expertise to your clients and to be able to sell what we see, to sell more travel, because that's what we're in the business to do, right? I said, well, shoot, why isn't there, why can't I just take all my notes in one place, organize all my photos, put all my impressions and my reviews in, and auto-generate a report back to my clients and my colleagues? Why isn't there an app for that? Oh, wait a minute, there can be an app for that. And so that's what led to the creation of FamGuru, because as an advisor, we need a better way to record all of our insights and information. And it needs to be easier. We work really hard as advisors, and technology can make it easier. And I know we're all out there, hoping for more FAMs, doing lots of FAMs, and trying to keep that all straight. There is a better way, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So with that in mind, what we're really going to cover, it's a training, right? We're going to talk about how to use the FamGuru app. So this is the mobile version of FamGuru that you can use while you're traveling. And how does that work? We're going to be focusing on the hosted supplier type of FAM. So someone invites you in a group FAM, let's say, and then how does that work with FamGuru? We also know that there's other ways to do FAMs. So we're going to toggle over to the FamGuru website. We're going to talk about using the website as an advisor because sometimes it's easier to type on a website and not on a small phone. And then talk about specifically, if you're doing your own self-directed FAM trip and it's not a hosted trip, how does that work within FamGuru? Because you can do both. And so it doesn't always have to be initiated by a supplier host, for example. So if that's sort of the plan for today, we're going to try to keep this to 45 minutes overall. And I'm looking forward to your questions along the way because FamGuru is what it is today because a lot of people have been giving us feedback over the last year that we've been live and people have been using us. So looking forward to more feedback today. Great questions because that shapes how I work, how Melissa and team work. And so with that, I'm going to stop sharing right now and we're actually going to go over to my phone. And so far so good, everyone. Now I can see you all. I can't all see your faces, but what I'm going to show you is FamGuru, the app. And so allow me to do that for a second. I need to also get to a different, there we go. I didn't know this was possible before starting this company to be able to share your phone screen on a Zoom, which is pretty crazy. And so I'm going to be broadcasting my phone. You'll see my personal phone in a moment here. Voila. And so what we have right here is Carrie's iPhone. And so I will go into FamGuru number 1. Actually, just go to my trips. And I want to talk a little bit about the process of accepting a trip. So let's say a host invites you on a trip and they're using FamGuru. Fantastic. They're going to be putting together an itinerary for you. They're going to be uploading collateral. They're going to be providing a lot of information to you up front. And then they're going to invite you. What's going to happen is you're going to receive an email from that host. And I'll show you what that email looks like. I'm going to go into my email right now, not the Zoom invite, but down here. Gosh, we get a lot of email every day, don't we? So FamGuru, trip to Chicago, November 24. I have been invited on a trip. Get ready for your next fam trip. So you're going to see something like this from your host. They will have, they will have provided some basic information and the dates. And if you'd like to attend, what you're going to do is you're going to go to Manage Invitation. And I'm going to talk through what that is. I won't take you through every single step. However, when you click on Manage Invitation, if you already have FamGuru, it'll take you right to your FamGuru to accept their invitation. If you don't have FamGuru, it'll take you to your app store so that you can go ahead and download and set up your account. So that email is the first step that's going to be coming in. And then once you actually receive that, you have an account set up. What's going to happen if we go back into FamGuru on this trip to Chicago, you're going to see a little yellow square and it says awaiting acceptance. And you'll click on that. And once you do, you'll be accepted into the trip and you'll be able to see that trip structure. I'm actually in my admin account right now. And I'm not in my agency account. So we don't see it on mine, but that's the gist of it. It's actually very, very straightforward. Now, once you get into FamGuru, we won't jump into the trip just yet, but we're going to talk a little bit about the profile section because this is important. So here's my profile. I can show you what's part of it. Now, I want to tell you that I really was born in 2022. And so it's going to have your birth date and your email address and your agency and your phone number because everybody, when you're on a fam trip, a group fam trip, this information is important. They want your phone number. They want your social media handles. They're going to ask you all of these things up front. And how nice is it to have all of that information in one place so you don't always have to retype it and send it to them 5 times a year. But when you set up your account, this is not automatically in here. It's important for you to go and populate this information. Why is that? One, to transmit the information to your host so that they can get the information they need to run the trip. And also because in the future, the not too distant future, we will have the ability for suppliers using FamGuru to search for advisors within our database to say, who's a good advisor? And maybe I should invite them to my trip. So the more complete you can make your profile, the better chance you will have of receiving an invitation from a supplier maybe you haven't even met before, but thinks you're the perfect fit for their fam trip. Continuing on with that profile, dietary information. So if you need to, we all have something that we prefer or don't prefer. So these are the different things that you can specify for yourself. And when you accept a trip, this dietary information goes to your host. So that's important to note as well. And so they'll have that, and you don't have to type it all up and send it to them and hope that they get it. And if you have no restrictions, you tick that box, or if you do have things to share, you can do that below. Also, just information about you and your agency, your business, a description of you, any awards and recognitions, when did you start your business, destinations you saw most often, destinations you wish to know better, and your specialties, right? That's important when they're going to be selecting you in the future for potential fam trips. So that's just a bit about the profile. So important to do that proactively when you sign up for FamGuru. And I know most of you some of you already have an account. That's great. And if not, once you set one up, please go ahead and do all of your account settings as well. All right, so let's go into the trips. So I'm actually not going to take you into Chicago. That's just an example. I'm going to take you to a past trip. And actually, one other thing before going forward, anywhere in the FamGuru app, sorry, sometimes the app gets a little squirrely and it departs the Zoom call. So I'm going to reshare my screen. Apologies for that. Bear with me. Thank you for your patience. Oh, hey, I see some familiar faces, people that I know joining the group today. Perfect. All right, back to my screen, back to FamGuru. Let's put that off to the side. Anywhere you see that orange question mark, that means you can get help. And I will also show you where to do that in the support section. But if you're on a certain screen and you're not sure quite what to do, click on the orange question mark. There will be video tutorials and also a way to contact us should you need help. Also, just in general, back at our account settings, the support section, we do anything that has to do with the trip itinerary. We have a couple videos here, and you can dial that up and watch that to help you understand how to edit and add parts of your itinerary or navigating your trip's home screen, for example. And so for all parts of the app under support, you have this area, and also you have the ability to send feedback to us. If you don't find what you need, drop us a line. It comes right into my inbox. I'll share it with Melissa, and we'll get back to you and help you understand how to use the app from there. So far, so good. A few heads up, nod. Okay. All right. Then we're going to talk about the trip itself. I'm going to go back to our trips. We have here any active fam trips. So these are things that we're either on right now or are coming up for us. And we also have all of our past trips here. And so I'm going to choose one of the past trips because it's relatively well built out. And this is a weekend in Bermuda. Had the good fortune to visit earlier this year. This has a lot of different things in it, a lot of different things to explore. And the first part of this is navigating the trip itself. And so what do we see here on the trip's home screen? And then how do we get to do different things within FamGuru as we go along? So I'm going to take you through that. First of all, you'll see, well, just a summary, 3 participants, actually not a very big fam trip, right? And if your host has certain requirements, they might need a copy of your flights. They might need a copy of your passport. This will show up on the home screen as a reminder that you need to do that. What does that entail?
Carrie,
yes.
Sorry to interrupt. We can't see your screen.
Oh, goodness. It's not broadcasting? No.
No,
Thank you,
yet.
Melissa. Sorry.
That's okay. Someone mentioned.
All right, that's a bit of a faux pas. Sorry, y'all. How are we doing now? Is that better? Oh goodness, there we are.
Yes.
Okay, apologies. Let me go back.
That's okay.
All right. Did we see the support section, Melly, or not?
No.
Oh goodness. Thank you for someone raising your hand. I'm just going to say down on the lower right, there's the account. We go to support and we look at any one of these different areas under trip itinerary, for example. We have 2 videos. You can click on that and you can learn how to add and edit parts of your itinerary or navigate your trip screen. And then also, if you need to send us feedback, that's the way you do it. And you can send us a note. Oh boy, apologies for that all. Thank you for letting me know. All right, now going back to our trips, I'm going to start here again. Active fam trips, anything now or in the future, past fam trips, anything we've seen before, so we can always refer back to them. So I'm going into this one, Bermuda. Okay, we're talking about the required documents. So what happens here? The host says, I need a copy of your passport. So what do we do with this? We can take we can click on that or on here, and we see that it's pending, and I can upload a copy of my passport right here. And so I'll upload the file. If I have to share any information with my host, I will. And I can delete that document after the trip. The host doesn't need to see that after the trip, right? That's my personal information. We don't need a copy of that later. And so so what happens when you upload that, your host gets a notification in their FamGuru and says, oh, Carrie submitted her passport copy. Then they go in, make sure I didn't actually upload a photo of my dog, as cute as it may be, and say, yes, good, agree. And then they confirm that. And so then you have ticked the box and you've submitted that requirement. So they may have several different ones. They might want to know the gender of the spa therapist that you prefer if they're going to be having a spa treatment, or again, they might want to know your flight or your ferry information. So all of those things that we normally do on email, and they have to chase us advisors who are the worst at our own travel arrangements, they can do through the app and keep it all in one place, which is really nice for them and nice for us as well. Going back to the trip itself, whoops, go back here. There we go, thank you. So that's part of the home screen. And if we have any notifications about the trip, let's say somebody, if we see that, we'll see here, for example, that our passport was approved in a notification. Now, the main navigation for the whole app comes off the left-hand navigation bar. And so you click the three little lines in the upper left, and we have a series of different parts right here that you can get to. I'm going to be talking about each one of these and in turn. We'll start with the itinerary. What is this all about? So here's the itinerary that the host has put together for me. I didn't have to do this. And they have the ability to, they put in a place for us to take notes on our flight to Bermuda, a place to take notes on Bermuda, and a place to take hotel notes. This is essentially the itinerary that we're going to be following with them. And everything that they've put in the itinerary for us, we'll have the opportunity to A, look at, and B, do reviews for, put our notes in, put our impressions in, and that will stay in our FamGuru. They've put together what I call the professional side of FamGuru. They'll put in preload any photos that they want us to have, any collateral they want us to have, any contacts that they want us to have. So not only do we have that somewhere on email, we actually have that in our FamGuru right after the trip, 6 months after the trip, 3 years after the trip, because there's a before, a during, and an after the fam, and we need to be able to access that information afterwards as well. So let's take a look at what, let's say, a hotel booking looks like here. And so what they've done is they've added the hotel. When they do this, it's Google enabled. So they pull in a map. Here's any preloaded photo that they've given us. Didn't put in a website, it looks like. But also here, we have the opportunity, once we're traveling, not only just to know what's happening at what time, but to go ahead and add our insights. So let's take a look at how to add an insight for a hotel. Hotels are some of the most important things we have to remember. We see so many of them, and our clients actually need a lot of guidance on that. So we have the ability to go very deeply into the hotel experience here. So let's take a look at notes, for example. And we have either public notes or private notes. And what's happened here is that you can, when you go into the edit mode, and I'm going to try to open this up without ending this. Sometimes if I tap in this part of my screen, there we go. Yay. This is where I can rate my experience. This is where I can upload a photo. This is where I can write my comments. Now, public notes, what is that? Your host needs some feedback from you. They want to see and hear what you're saying about a given property or a given experience so that they can learn from that they can become better from it. So do note that this can be seen by your host. This information can be seen by your fan colleagues. However, there are certain things that you don't want to share, and that's what you put in the private notes. Maybe you don't like the hotel. Maybe it's not something your clients, it's not appropriate to your clients. Maybe you have so much nitty gritty, you really don't need to share it with everyone. So you can do both here. We understand the need to be private. Also, I wrote a lot here. Who is this good for? So when we're thinking about a hotel, we can multi-select here what are couples and honeymoon, for example. Great. Or specifically which clients? Oh, Sarah Jones, right? And so when we'll say Sarah, but so when we get back and we know we have to share this information, we've taken some notes about who this is good for so that we can be proactive in following up from a sales perspective. We save that just for our own knowledge and go back. Also, we can upload our photos. What does that look like? If I go back into my edit mode here and I want to add a photo here, and this goes the same way through any part of FamGuru. We can browse our images. So we can bring in an image that we've already taken from our camera gallery, or we can start and take a photo. Right now, we won't take a photo of my computer screen, but you get the idea, right? And so either way, if you've already taken a photo, you want to upload it to this section of FamGuru, by all means, do so. Okay, so that's just a little bit about the notes. There is also a way to put in a bit of notes about each photo as well. Everything that you work on gets a rating. What did you think about it? How did you like it? Also, any contacts. The host may have preloaded that for us, but if we have anybody else that we meet along the way that we would like to add to our FamGuru for future reference, we can do that. Also, then and I'll say that contacts are all private. That doesn't, nobody has to see all your contacts. And all of the insights below are also fall into the private category. Now the rooms, this is what I would have loved as an advisor. Oh my gosh, how many rooms do we see? Goodness, can you remember which room that was 6 months from now when you look at your 500 photos? Doesn't happen. So you can add a new type of room. I have some preloaded here. And wow, that is, when it populates, this is the Ocean View to Queens and all my photos from that. And I have this and I know what they are and they're all in one place. Oh my goodness. So that was something I always wanted as an advisor. We also have the ability to share any one of your photos within FamGuru to social media. And that'll pop up all your different apps. If you want to text a client, want to email a client, you want to put it on your Insta, whatever you want to send it to your teams back in office, you can do that. Check this out. Look what I'm seeing right now. I'm thinking of you. Another good way to, just get people involved in what you're doing and to market yourself, right? So any photo in FamGuru can be shared to your social. And here's our comments as well. So you're in number, name, view, all those things that we like to take note of. Going back to other parts of the hotel, these are our food and beverage outlets. We have the ability to add a photo and our impressions of it, like we've seen before. And then going back to wellness, same idea, gym, spa, tennis courts, golf. And you can add, anytime you want to add a new type, you can see what kind of types that you can add, for example. And my favorite actually is the common areas, because this is what I would forget to go see. And let's say, I didn't always think about what I should go see at the hotel, and maybe it hasn't been shown to us yet. So let's see what types I haven't taken a picture of the beach yet. I lost a client by not remembering what the beach looked like. That was bad. What do the grounds look like? Oh, I'm a family travel specialist. Let me ask about the kids program or the kids club. Let me go see that. So this allows us as advisors to engage even more deeply with the hotel by jogging our memory. And then we have this afterwards that we can share that knowledge with our clients and pull it up when they start asking, right? So, and then again, you can do this for the hotels are the deepest part of it. But if we wanted to say, oh, I want to take notes on the island too, right? What's it all about? So if I add my insights here, this is just my general impression, some general photos, airport photos, just to give me a flavor, jog my memory. What did I think of the island? You'll notice that I am very verbose here. I did a lot of typing. Now, one can do that either on your phone, which that, of course, is a lot of work, or I don't know if you can see it down in the bottom part of my screen, maybe not. But anytime you put your cursor in a text box from FamGuru at the bottom lower right, I don't know if you'll see it on my screen, but you get the microphone for your phone to do dictation. So I typed all of this by talking into my phone. So it doesn't actually work too well it doesn't work really well I'm doing a Zoom, but you'll be able to do that on your own. But anywhere there's a text box, just put your cursor in the text box and start talking. Okay, and I'm going to discard the changes. All right, so that's a bit about how we do certain things within FamGuru within the itinerary. I'll be talking more about how to set up an itinerary shortly. So if you're on your own trip, we'll work on that momentarily. I'm also going to go back to our left-hand navigation bar. So I'm going to the 3 lines in the upper left. And Melly, again, if there are any questions along the way that we need to address, you let me know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure. So we talked about itinerary. We can see who the participants are on our trip. That's always important. I want to talk a bit about the gallery. And I'm actually on a mission to replace the WhatsApp group within a fam trip, because there's no need to have 2 platforms, and we can do everything that WhatsApp does. And so this is a place where your host can preload photos, or when you're traveling and you want to share that with your colleagues on the trip, you can go and simply add to the gallery. And you can see who added. You've got a photo credit. If they have a description, it'll be there. And the 3 dots up in the right, we can go ahead and put that on social media or WhatsApp or an email to our colleagues and clients, just like before. Let's talk a little bit still about this whole WhatsApp capability. So, all right, you need to be able to chat with your host. You need to be able to chat with your colleagues, right? So we have a chat feature here down here. So that you can, so here at the bottom, it would be messaging to anyone in the group. So if you're doing a group text or a group chat, you can do that. Or if you go up to the top, you can see, well, one member is me right now, but if you have multiple members on the trip, then you can choose a specific individual, and then you can chat with that individual. Hey, let's meet up early for a drink before dinner, and you can work that way. I will also mention that and Melissa has been working hard on this, we will be having video in FamGuru hopefully this week. So advisors have been asking that. We know when we go on site inspections, we're going through all of those rooms with our phones, and we're taking a visual of that and talking behind it often. So anywhere where you can add photos in FamGuru, including in this chat or including in the shared gallery, you'll also be able to put video, because we recognize that video is a major way that we record our insights along the way. So I'm super excited for that as an advisor personally. So please know that's coming this week. I'm so happy for that. Let me see. There we are, back in our trip. Also just want to share, if the host has put in any files that we need to know for the trip, they're here. So they can put in a file by hotel. So if the hotel has a spa menu or the hotel has a activity menu, they can do it in the hotel section. Or if it pertains to the general trip, we can do it here in the trip file. So Bermuda by season, and I can take a look at this. Oh, what did they send me? What do I have here that I can use for my clients? Hopefully this will open. Not opening at the moment, but it should do. Melly, we'll have to talk about that later. But it should open this up, and so I should see it as a PDF, and that I can see what my host has provided for me. I can download it and share it with my clients in 6 months. Oh, there we go. It just took a while to come up. And so this is the temperatures, the time of year, and the kinds of activities that my clients can enjoy while they're in Bermuda at that time of year, for example. Or this could be anything to do with, they might have a country section or what have you. Okay, we talked a bit about the required documents, the passports. There might be a waiver form. There might be, if you're traveling to Africa, they might need to see your yellow fever vaccination form to make sure you're good to go. We won't talk too much about the rest on here, but you get the idea that here on the left-hand side is where you can find a lot of things that are important to your use of FamGuru. So, all right, let me just take a pause and on this section before we head into the next. Oh, you know what I want to do too? I don't want to forget this. Let's go back into the trip's home screen. So let's say you've taken all of your notes and uploaded all of your photos. What do you do with all this great data, right? How do you share it? That's the important part. How do you share it with your colleagues? How do you share it with your clients? And I want to talk with you about this little box with the up arrow in the upper right. That is auto-generate the report. At the touch of a button, we're going to put together a nice report that can be shared, which is what I always wanted. Yes, please, let's generate a PDF. That will take a moment. And you'll see the structure that we've given it to be able to share with your colleagues and your clients. I will say that we continue to work on this report structure. We want it to be more flexible, so it doesn't, if you want to just pull out one section of the report, a given hotel for your client, then great. Or if you want to share, half of it with your colleagues, then great. So it will continue to become more flexible and more useful. And what you have right now is, at a glance, the overall itinerary right here, and that'll look familiar just so we can see what is part of the trip. And then we're going to go down to take a look at the different sections. One of the things I'll say is, right now we need to suppress the fields that do not have data in them, because obviously that takes up valuable space on the report. We don't need to see that if it doesn't have any information in it. However, I am going to go down to the hotel because I know I have, here's the Bermuda general notes that we're talking about, and all my photos that were under general, and my very verbose dictation that happens there. And then we'll go down to the hotel. I think we're getting there closely, but you don't have to do any of this layout. All this comes in automatically. Everything that your host put in or that you put in is here. So now we're here at the hotel stay in the gorgeous Bermuda resort. And here's my personal information. Here's my private information. And again, I can share this with whoever I want. All I have to do in the lower left-hand corner is to hit this. And again, I can put it on email. I can airdrop it. I can text it to somebody, this document. And it will also be available in a editable format too, if you want to take parts of this. And then here are we were talking about the specific hotel type. There is the Ocean View to Queens we were looking at before. Cool, all right there, all of my photos, everything that I thought about it, so I can share it with my colleagues and with my clients if I want. Okay, so far so good. Let me just see if there's anything else I wanted to add. No, I think that's the bulk of it. Now, do we have some questions that we should address?
Yes, there was one question regarding what if a supplier is not part of FamGuru? So, how we manage invitations, how we add new people to our fam trip.
Okay, two things. A couple different things that leads to. So certainly not every, you may want to use FamGuru, but your supplier is not using FamGuru. What do you do in that case? That in that case, you set up your own self-directed trip, and you will be creating the itinerary yourself. You'll be able to take your notes yourself once you create that structure. It's easier if the host will do it for you, or you can, go to your host in advance and suggest that they try FamGuru on this trip, which we would love for you to have them do. And so that's the fundamental answer, the high level answer. Now, let's say you're traveling with other people. Uh, FamGuru allows you as an advisor. FamGuru is free for advisors. I will say that it will be free today. It will be free in the future because we want you to use it unencumbered. We want you to use it all the time and always have your FamGuru and always have your data to refer back to. The more advisors that use this, the more valuable it will be. And we hope to have FamGuru for agencies soon so that within your agency, you'll be able to pool your knowledge. And that's very powerful. And use artificial intelligence to start pulling that knowledge out. Hey, I have a client that looks like this and acts like this and is thinking of these destinations. Tell me agency data in FamGuru, where I should be sending them or what hotels they should look at, right? That kind of knowledge. The free accounts that we have for advisors are for the advisor only. So are they so if let's say you're traveling with your entire agency or a couple of other advisors or maybe with your spouse who is with you in the business, then we do have FamGuru Premium. It's very, very inexpensive right now. It's like $4 a month right now. And you can add up to 4 other people into your trip. So sharing, then you can share that itinerary so they can take their notes as well. And so they don't have to put their own itinerary together. So but please know there's always a free version of FamGuru going forward. I think I hope that answered the question. I think there's another one that came in too.
Yeah, exactly. How are the suppliers reacting to FamGuru and are they buying into it?
They definitely are. They have we have right now about 7 or 8 what I'll call charter members of FamGuru, and including Ultimate Jet Vacations, Four Seasons Hawaii, a couple of DMCs in different countries, and different representation companies. For example, Bennett Mercado. Some of you may know them. And so, but we also have a further sort of 20 others in trial right now. And, additional Four Seasons hotels, for example, let's see, Silver Sea is looking at it. And many, many others, which Hilton Resorts is looking at it. So I'm very excited about that. And everybody says, oh my gosh, Carrie, not only can our advisors now take their notes and share them better and be better at selling what they've seen on their fan trips, but it's so much easier for all of us. So it's just a matter of introducing them and getting them to learn what it's all about and why how it works. And honestly, the feedback's been fantastic. I'm really excited. I mean, shoot, 82 of you registered for this webinar today, which I think is exciting personally. So I think the winds are blowing in the way of FamGuru. We just needs time to get that's why we're doing these trainings so people can see what it is and how to use it. So let's see.
So yeah, there is another one that Melissa says, I was a little late joining. Is there any way to add flights to the itinerary area of the app?
So what we're going to do, I think that's a good segue into the next section of our presentation today. We're going to talk about putting together your own self-directed trip, and we're going to show you how you would do that. And I will say that we still are in the process of learning what we need to do, and a lot of things are we have a huge list of things that we want to create for advisors and suppliers. And so while we don't have everything exactly where I'd want it to be right now, I'll show you how that's done. So now what I'm going to do is toggle over and speak a bit about the website, because we don't always want to type on our phones. And when you're setting up a trip, it's easier to do it on a computer, right? So I'm going to share another screen. Voila. Go ahead and share. So hopefully everybody can see my desktop now. Here we are. Okay.
Yes,
so
we can.
This is FamGuru for the web. And Melissa, if you wouldn't mind putting in the chat the URL for that, which is https web.famguru.app. And so you can sign up on this page, you can sign in on this page, you can get to all of your same trips that you had on your app, and you'll see that similarity here on my desktop. There's that Chicago trip that we were talking about. And there is down here, let me show more on our past trips. We'll go to our Bermuda trip and it will look very similar. Those tips. There it is, open sesame. And so you'll see that the navigation structure looks really similar. It's the same image that was used. If we go into the itinerary, this is important because this is where you would take your notes on instead of typing on your phone, adding or viewing your insights. And again, everything that we saw on the app is all right here. So if you're going back in and if you want to do your edits here, perfect. Come on in and do it on the web. A lot of people find this easier. We didn't have this originally, and this is one of the biggest comments we had. Oh, please make it on the web too. Melly can testify to that. So that's just a little bit to show you how similar the two are. Now, how does one actually set up a trip? So we're going to talk about how to set up your own self-directed trip. So we come to our home screen here where we have a list of our trips and notifications, and simple, create new trip. You can upload an image that will represent your trip, or you can choose a placeholder here. You're going to have a name of your trip. I generally suggest something with the destination and the year and the month that you're going for future reference. You'll select your organization. You're going to set up an organization when you're doing your profile. And in this case, it might be FamGuru. I won't actually save one right now. Start and end date. If you're inviting anyone on your trip, let's say you do have the ability to bring other advisors along on your trip, this is the text that will appear in that email that we showed at the very beginning. So, please set up your FamGuru account so that you can accept the trip through FamGuru and be part of it. And then a few words of trip description. Now, if you're a supplier host, I would expect this to be really good. This might be your consortia's description, or a few sentences that will jog your memory when you're looking back on this trip, because quite a lot of people do a lot of travel. So it's important to remind yourself of what it is you did. I won't actually set this up, but very easy to start that process. Now we're going to go into the Chicago trip and talk about how we add things to that trip. We had the question earlier about how to add a different component. Well, let's talk about how to do that. Very simple. Here are the dates of our trip. And how do we add a different element to the trip? Well, let's say we're coming in and we want a place to take just general notes on Chicago. So what we'll do is we'll add something called an other booking. We have a hotel stay, a hotel site inspection, because when you stay, it's very different than what you feel and see on an inspection. We have restaurants, and then we have everything else. So let us start. We're actually not going to search for Chicago notes because that won't actually be in Google. This is a Google-enabled search, but we're going to add a new item here. We're going to say Chicago notes. Now, there's really no address, phone number, website to that. We're going to save. It's going to take us through a little bit of a process here. If we wanted to add any context to our Chicago notes in advance, we could. This is where we're setting up in advance. This is not while we're on the trip in theory. I do recommend you set up your itinerary before, because it's too much while you're actually going through it. If I wanted to put any advanced description, I could, or any website, maybe I have a tourism website that I want to put in there. If not, we can just go through it. Any photos or images I want to drop in ahead of time that a host would do this. You may not do this as an advisor. Or any files. Maybe I have some great Chicago files I want to hang on to for future reference. And then we'll just save it. And what happens here? The very first thing, Chicago notes. Cool. So let's say we wanted to add some Chicago notes. What would we do? Well, here's just the basics that we set up. Well, here, let's add our insights. Oh, let me rate my overall Chicago experience. Let me drop my Chicago photos if you have them on, if you have them on your computer instead of on your phone. And here are my comments about, in Chicago. And maybe you don't need to have both public and private in this case, but there is no host, it's just you. So it's up to you how you want to do that. And if we go back, and let's go back to the itinerary and let's add a hotel. And so let's say we're going to be staying at the Conrad Chicago. And what happens is, Google Maps tells us what our options are. So we're going to select the Conrad Chicago. It pulls it in automatically. We just have to say when we're getting there, when we're leaving. Let's say we're going to leave on the 17th. Easy enough, right? And maybe I have contacts that I know ahead of time to help me set up the stay, and my description of the hotel in advance and the website and the phone number. All of that can be added by us in advance. And we'll go through this. Or again, if I have any photos I want to add, in theory, a host would do this for you. Any files I want to add in advance. And so again, these are the advanced, this is before the trip. The insights and those photos that you're taking while you're on your trip, that is the during. So we'll save this and let's see what happens. Okay, great. So now we know we have Conrad Chicago across all the time that we're here. So any day that we're happening to work and we want to pop in and put in some notes about the Conrad, we can do that. So the hotel stay goes across several days, whereas the hotel site inspection, let's say we're just going to put in 4 Seasons Chicago, and we do the same thing. And that is on a given day. It doesn't extend across days. And here's our time. We're going to do a 2 p.m. inspection, and we have all of the same things. I'll just zip through this so you can see how it works and confirm. And so we have on this day, the 15th, that's where our site inspection is. And if you have a dinner reservation, you can put it in here. And if you have, let's say, maybe you've got a special yoga session, you can use another element. And if you have flights, what I would recommend right now is doing this. And we're going to add one, and we're going to say flight from LAX to ORD. And we're going to put that in. Number 234, and we'll have the time in there on UA, for example. So it's not like an itinerary program right now. We don't have the full capability of flights, but you can put it in as another booking. We will have that at some point. And so it's just all a matter of time and priorities at this moment. I'm going to get video up for you all first. And so once you do that and you put that into your itinerary, then we'll see it. Actually, we might want to reorder the time. Well, where did I put the flight? Well, probably, it looks like I put the flight on the second day. That wasn't the wisest thing to do. But in any case, you can comment. And if you have any comments about this, you can put your comments about the flight, just like any other part of the itinerary. Hope that makes sense for right now. And we'll continue to evolve this and make it easier and easier and have it be able to search for your flight number, etc., like it does in the itinerary apps. So, great. So just a quick tour through here. We can see our participants, itinerary. Here's our gallery if you want to add any photos that we're from the trip itself in one place. And our chat. We probably won't have our own requirements, but you get the sense for how one sets it up at this point and how one takes notes. And here, for example, if you want to generate your itinerary report, we go to export trip report, just like we saw before, and that's what's going to generate all of your notes and your photos into one document that you can share. So, my goodness, we're already almost at 45 minutes, so I'm going to just sort of pull back for a second here and take any other questions that may be coming up. And for those of you who can't stay, I understand. Oh gosh, there's a lot of messages in here, aren't there? Melly, what do we have for any questions coming through? Hopefully, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'm hoping this is not the most boring Zoom you're going to have all week. Number one, because fam trips are a fun subject, and I hope there's something here that you can take away and use. But questions, Melly, anything here?
Not for now, but anyone that can think of anything from what we've seen, interest for
please don't be
everything
shy.
We saw. Yes, absolutely.
There's a lot. I mean, I know there's a lot of people in the call today, but we're here for
we
you.
Have one.
Oh, yay.
Can you add the hotel room pictures on the web app the way you can on the mobile?
You definitely can. You can add, if you have them on your hard drive or on a USB stick, you can do that. So you can't add them from your phone because you're not on your phone. But if you have them in a different way, by all means, if you've taken a bunch of more professional photos with a nice camera and you've uploaded them, yes, for sure, for sure. Okay. Let's see, anything else? Great.
Thank you so much.
All right.
James says this is a great tool. and anyone that can think of.
Let's see. Can you read it? Can I? Let's see. Any? Was there a question there, Melly, or not?
Not now. Melissa says, very cool. Can't wait to share with other advisors.
Yeah. Well, with all these comments and knowing that we're coming to the end of our time, allow me also to um go back to our just go back to a final slide here and close things out. And I just want to say how let's see, can you all see that's there we go, this final slide. Um, so what do we do with this, right? I know many of you have accounts, keep using it, keep asking us for help using it. We love your feedback. It really makes a difference. And so use those question mark icons both on the web and on the app to get help. Email us at info@famguru.app and we'll help you. And there's also support resources on the support section of our homepage, which is famguru.app. And you can download it at either of the app stores, or there's the website to sign up online. And that's really where you're going to sign in once you have your login credentials. They're equal between the web and the app. And tell your agencies. I mean, it's super important that more people know about this. Tell your agencies, tell your industry friends, and can I say most importantly, tell your suppliers that you think need to know about this. Why is that? Because they're the paying customers of FamGuru, and that's how, with their support, we get to keep doing what we're doing. So far, they seem enthusiastic, but obviously, the more, the better for us. The more we can do for all of you. Because as an advisor, I think advising is hard. We have a lot of responsibilities, and technology can make it easier. And we're learning a lot of things about fam trips overall and the best practices behind fam trips, and we hope to continue sharing that information with you and the suppliers so that we can all become more effective advisors, better, more valuable to our clients, making our lives easier in the process and building our businesses. Because how cool, I mean, what an amazing industry we work in, right? The best lifestyle ever. I've done this for 20 years. I'm sure various, some of you are new and some of you have been around a while. But the fam trip is super important to us. It's really how we gain our most important and most useful knowledge. So we need to make it easier to record that information, access that information after the fact, and to build our supplier relationships in the process. So I hope you like what you've seen. I'll remain around for questions after this, but
yes. So Carrie, sorry to interrupt you. There's some questions. There's one that says, so do you have a link that we can share to suppliers to try? I already shared our link for the web app. And Carrie said you can download a mobile app on Android or iOS. Again, FamGuru. And
if you have
anything you
a specific supplier, I would be
Mhm.
happy to, you're welcome to send me a note and copy them in, and I can send them some basic information just to get them up to speed, or we can share that, you can share what we call our marketing website, which is just famguru.app as well, so they can get a flavor of what it's all
Exactly.
about.
So, in line with that, there's other question that says, how do we reach you to perhaps do a presentation to our
Oh.
agency of 200 advisors?
Oh my gosh, we'd be delighted. You can get me either at the info@famguru.app. That also goes into my inbox, or Carrie, Carrie @famguru.app. And I'd be delighted to talk about that and find a time to do that. Because again, the more the better. And let's see,
Exactly.
Melly is putting that in. And yeah, thank you everybody for coming. And we're here for you. Please try using it. Please get out there. You can go back and put in your old information. I know there's going to be a lot of coaching points for us, and we want to hear it all because I don't have all the answers. No, all of you have come up with some great ideas that have been incorporated into FamGuru thus far. And yeah, and also if you're going on a fam trip, asking about the suppliers, go to them and say, hey, why don't we try this out? Every supplier gets a free fam trip, so why not make it yours, right? So if you're going with 5 to 10 people, drop a note to the supplier and say, hey, can we try this? Maybe they'll be game, and it doesn't cost them anything to try. So that would be my advice. So I so appreciate all of you. Oh my goodness. And I'll remain for a few more minutes, but if people have to, and I'm looking in the chat right now and yeah, thank you. I'm the words that you're saying are mean a lot to me because as an advisor, this is what I always wanted because I could never keep it all straight. And I think I've built my business way more slowly than I wanted to because I could not, I couldn't take all this great knowledge and market it effectively. And the goal is to make us not just better salespeople, but better marketers too. And you need information and you need information structured easily for you to be able to send that out and share it widely. Sooner or later, we'll link to MailChimp. Sooner or later, we'll have different tools for you all to make this really easy to put in front of your clients and to share with your colleagues, even more than we do now. So, all right. I know everybody's inboxes are probably filling up in the last 45 minutes. So thank you all. And again, I'll just stick around a couple more minutes. So if you have to drop off, have a good rest of your day. And anybody going anywhere fun on a fam trip before you drop off soon, hopefully. And if so, we encourage you to give FamGuru a try if you haven't already. Well, thanks everyone. And we'll be sending out the recording so you can share it with your colleagues. And if you want to share it with any suppliers, and by the way, we have a supplier demo on Thursday. So if you know somebody, I'll get you. I'll put it in the email as well when we send out the recording. So cool. All right. Well, thanks everyone. So grateful for all of you and what you do. Likewise, our clients are. So go get them and happy. May you have good business the rest of the year. Thanks.